Jeff from New Orleans. How's it going?
Hey, Jeff from New Orleans. It's going good. What would you like to talk about today?
I can talk about two things. One, I wanted to touch on the. Oh wow, it's raining. Y'all hear that? Pretty loud.
I don't. But so don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. It's storming down here. But the Amazon workers in Birmingham, Alabama, I think that it's really amazing how they've been able to kind of step up and fight for, rights on the job when against one of the biggest like monster corporations in the world.
Right. They surely got Amazon worried.
Amazon's doing all sorts of crazy shit to try to keep them from organizing, up to and including tampering with the traffic lights.
All right. And let's not forget that.
Wait, they did what with the traffic lights?
They tampered with the traffic lights. I retweeted this story. It's kind of insane.
And let's not forget that Jeff Bezos, quite coincidentally, said he's stepping down as CEO. Now, I know that's not related, but yeah, these guys are really... They're shaking in their little Amazon basic boots.
They're basic.
Yeah. Here we go. Amazon is forcing them into anti-union meetings, texting them up to 5 times daily, putting messages in bathrooms, even changing traffic light patterns to harm union organizing. So just had.
Oh my God! I did see on I think it was on Kim Kelly's video. She's doing like amazing coverage of this, by the way.
I saw that.
Yes.
But in her video, it showed like the bathroom stalls that Amazon had, and it had like literally, if you're sitting on the the John or whatever, you have like a unions are bad like advertisement staring you in the face. It's ridiculous.
Right.
They understand the stakes.
I just wanted to do. Yeah, they do, and I just wanted to do a big shout out. What's up?
When is that going down again? When are they?
So the drive is underway. The voting is underway. I think it's like 7 weeks of like mail-in voting.
Okay.
So it was a situation where because of the situation with COVID, they're mailing out ballots, and they're going to be they have like a 7-week window by which they are going to be returned.
I'm looking. They hired an anti-union consultant from a Koch-based think tank, a Koch-backed think tank, I should say.
Yeah, and they were pushing to force them to have in-person voting. So I'm very glad that didn't work.
Yeah, keep an eye on that because it's like one of the most important stories going on right now. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about is. I don't know how much of y'all have talked about this, but the PRO Act. Are y'all familiar with the PRO Act at all?
No, I'm not actually.
So go to passtheproact.org, and I've actually talked about this on my radio show, Good Morning Comrade. You can get more information at goodmorningcomrade.com. We had Ryan Keckeris, who's with the International Painters and Allied Trade Union, and essentially it is a legislation that's being pushed by the labor unions to do things like make scabs illegal. And to make sure, like when you have a union vote, you are essentially guaranteed a first contract. So there's a lot of really, really like awesome stuff in there. Passtheproact.org. Check it out. Because that's got to get passed. That would be like a landscape changer in the labor movement in the U.S.
Right. Right. It's interesting. I was thinking too before about Ali Alexander, that right winger, going off against the press. And obviously they go against the press for a multitude of reasons. But I do wonder how much some of these more institutional right wing people who help form the talking points for a lot of this stuff, I wonder how much of their backlash against the press too has to do with all this organizing going on over the past few years. Because there's been a real unionization effort, I think, that really got brought back into the forefront due to a lot of these news organizations, the young people of these news organizations fighting for unionization. I think like pretty much every major outlet you can think of, and even a number of smaller and independent ones now have unions. And this is something that really was not a thing until very recently.
Yeah, I think the New York Daily News, if I saw correctly, recently got unionized staff, which is fantastic. Like,
right, and that's
you gotta love workers.
That's not some like new upstart news organization that just came out of some like digital media company. Like, this is a legacy paper.
Yeah, it is. So like the labor movement is really kind of clicking right now, and it's something. It's a beautiful thing to see. And you know, in that point, I could bring up one last thing. The former president of the Chicago Teachers Union, Karen Lewis, she was with the Caucus of Rank and File Educators. She passed this week, unfortunately. So, you know, pour one out for her. She was one of the great ones. There's a really good article in Jacobin about Karen Lewis, written by Jackson Potter. You should probably check that out as well.
All right, will do. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
Yeah, can I plug Good Morning Comment one more time?
Please go ahead.
Yeah, you can check us out on WHIVLP New Orleans 102.3. You can also get more information and support us at patreon.com/goodmorningcomrades.
Ooh, you're on the real radio.
That's Mark Elaine
Yeah, we're
Derry's.
on the real radio. Yeah, Mark Allen. Oh yeah, he was on the show this week. He's a friend of mine. He's been on the show a couple times as well. He's a good dude.
It's awesome.
It's very, very cool anytime I hear about a leftist on the actual radio. Like, what?
All right.
Yeah, cool.
Well,
y'all have a great day. Thank y'all so much.
And allow me to say, good afternoon, comrade.
Good afternoon.
That's what we rename Majority Report that.
That's Thursday Fun Halves.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Let's go to one more call. Let's go 504. Well, one more call for now. Obviously, we'll go back to the phone.
Should play the Amazon video as well.
Yes.
Oh yeah, can we take that on
504? I already clicked it. That's why. If he doesn't listen, if he's not on, he or she is not on though, then all right, let's play the Amazon clip.
If I had the opportunity to talk to Jeff Bezos face to face, I would really want to ask him, have he ever worked in a warehouse before? Have he sweated for 10 to 12 hours a day and not being able to go to the restroom when he needed to go?
And the issue of working conditions, I'm very proud of our working conditions.
They got cameras. They watching us all the time.
It's a lot of walking. It's a lot of fast pace. It's a lot of climbing upstairs. It's just a lot for the human body.
It's tiring. It's consistent. It's fast speed. It's unsafe because you consistently working fast pace 10 hours, only 2 breaks.
They getting treated like robots, and it's not fair because even robots break down sometimes. I have issues when ladies are talking about TOT time, time off task, when they have to go use the restroom. When they saying that the restroom could be on the other side of the building, that they have to take their walk so far and they're timing them. And when they run out of time, people are calling me emotional like, Michael, I'm on last chance. They said it's extremely hot in there. They said they have had people to pass out because of the extreme hotness in there.
Who get doctored or get TOT time for going to the bathroom? Who get doctored for going to get water if you need water if you have to leave off your station? Come on now.
Jesus.
Yeah, we had Emily Gundelsberger on the show, I think, last year, talking about when she worked at a fulfillment center in Pennsylvania and just like the degree to which the work is dehumanizing and just like runs you around like an algorithm. It's awful.
Yeah. And they say that they're getting treated like robots, but they're actually getting treated worse than robots, because when the robots break down, Amazon owns those robots. They have to fix the robots so that they work again. When human beings break down, Amazon just replaces them with other people.
Right.
Like that is one advantage that, the relationship between a worker and a boss, that's an advantage for the boss. They can just, they especially in this version of capitalism, right? But, throughout the history, they can just replace workers. All human labor is interchangeable, and they are not responsible for the social reproduction, for the upkeep of the human. And they've been able to shift more and more of the responsibility onto the individual workers to keep themselves alive, and less and less onto themselves.
Right.
And Jeff Bezos is a guy that has so much money that he can't think of anything better to do with it than colonize space.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, he's got to get off this planet before the pitchforks come for him. And if you think he's not thinking about that, you're wrong.
Oh yeah, why do you think he's so jacked now? I mean,
right.
He's huge. It looks like he's preparing for Mad Max.
He literally is. Oh, like I read a really good article, a really creepy article in Medium written by this professor who gets paid to speak to, little clubs of billionaires or whatever. And the question on all of their minds is, how do we keep control over our private security forces when the shit hits the fan and there's some kind of proletarian insurrection? And
it's so feudal. It's like kings keeping control of their knights, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he said, oh, you should probably treat them well. They're like, what do we put shock collars on them? Like, what do we do? He's like, well, if you want their loyalty, you should treat them well. But also, like, you have a lot of power to prevent this from happening. You have a lot of power in society. And they're like, what? No, we don't. This is just happening. There's nothing anyone can do about it. So, a lot of that is probably they don't want to think that they have any power or any control or any culpability in this situation. But, some of it might be like even the ruling class is depoliticized. They think that a different outcome in a different world is not possible.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Here's speaking of just living in that belief, Business Insider lets rich people put their guards down. So this is from 2018, Jeff Bezos. Business Insider. Last week, we had Bill Gates for dinner here, and he said in a self-ironic manner, oh, I love that book. He's such a cad, that he has a ridiculous amount of money, and it is so hard to find appropriate ways to spend that money reasonably and to do good with the money. So what does money mean for you, being the first person in history who has the net worth of 3-digit amount of billions? Bezos, the only way I can see to deploy that much financial resources is by converting my Amazon winnings into space travel. That is basically it. Blue Origin is expensive enough to be able to use that fortune. I am liquidating about $1 billion a year of Amazon stock to fund Blue Origin, and I plan to continue to do that for a long time. So this is why, you can only have 2 bathroom breaks, and those are stopwatched, because you're right. You're not going to spend it on a second dinner out or a third bathroom break for your employees. That's not what we are talking about. I am very lucky that I feel I have a mission-driven purpose. I mean, this is a psychopath. This is a psycho person.
You can watch this interview on YouTube. It's recorded, and he's just out of his mind. Like, even the way he compliments the set at the Insider studio is hilarious and disturbing.
Sorry, I'm still stuck on the image of having Bill Gates for dinner.
And oh my God, can you imagine describing anything Bill Gates says to you as self-ironic? I'm not giving him credit for any of that stuff. Bill Gates,
right.
Yeah.
If Mackenzie Bezos is the philanthropic queen she claims to be, she should a great way to get back at your ex would be to bankroll the union drive.
No, seriously,
that would affect her stockholders.
Take note, Mackenzie.
Right.
I just hope if you're having Bill Gates for dinner that you bring some fava beans and a nice Chianti, because I hear that's what he likes.
Have you seen this? Speaking of weird eating, have you seen this photo of him eating the iguana?
Yes. Oh my God.
Dark.
If take that away. I don't want to look at that. Jesus Christ.
He's an odd guy, that Jeff Bezos. I mean,
he ate an iguana. If you needed a more I guess he's a lizard person and he's also a cannibal because he's eating a fellow lizard. If you needed a more accurate portrayal that the ruling class is literally lizard people who will even cannibalize their own, look no further than that photo.